Hey sports fans, welcome back to the Fool Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. Just wanted to give you some thoughts, some of my foolish opinions after Michigan's 75-65 loss to Minnesota. The Gophers coming off their first loss of the year to Michigan State at home. They were in Minnesota. Come into Chrysler Arena and just smack Michigan. Took over the second half. I think they got up 14, 16 points at least in that range and just took the game over. And very disheartening because Michigan was in the game, then all of a sudden they were completely out of the game. And it just, as a Michigan fan, I was hoping they had turned the corner a little bit after beating San Diego State and had beaten Nebraska. And obviously, if you look at the scoreboard, Auburn obliterated Nebraska too. So, we could pretty much judge Nebraska's not that great. Going to this game, though, it was a pretty tight first half. 36-32 at halftime, Michigan was up. Michigan was really focusing on getting the ball down low. Hunter Dickinson had 14 points in the first half. I think only one miss. I think that was a three-pointer he missed too. So, they were getting Diabate a few points. He was getting his points from the free throw line. Sadly, he only shot 50% from the free throw line. His shot looks really good. I don't understand why they don't go in more. But, yeah, 3 for 6. And, missed the first one every time and hit the second one every time. Caleb Houston was MIA. Did nothing. He hit one layup. He got fouled and hit a couple free throws. Diabate would finish 2 for 3. He's coming off being sick. So, it is what it is. Houston, I think, was 2 of 7 for the game, only a couple points. But still, Michigan was in the game, and then all of a sudden, the second half started, and Minnesota's outstanding players just took over, and they were just unstoppable. They kept doing a two-man game where they would do, a ball screen, and it would depend on if Hunter Dickinson switched or didn't switch, what they would do, and they just started hitting jumpers like crazy, three-pointers, and drive and hit little floaters and such. And those guys, at least at one point, combined for, I think, 27 points in the second half, something like that. Michigan had 14. I remember this stat. Michigan had 14 points, and Battle and Willis had 23 in the second half. So Michigan had 14, Battle and Willis had 23. So those guys were just insane. And like I said, they just took over the game, and Michigan could do nothing. Even when Michigan would try to switch up the defense and such, it was almost kind of too late to even do that, and it kind of worked. And Minnesota started trying to, almost give away the game, and that's where the interesting thing started happening. Michigan, all of a sudden, was down 16, 14, 16, whatever, and they go on a 9-0 run, 10-0, because Hunter hits the free throw afterwards. And I'll just say it was I'm just going to say it, 66-62, something like that, right? It was 6 points, though, so maybe it was 66-60. And Michigan had 3 or 4 straight possessions where they played good defense. They had some 10-second calls in there. And they just completely shot themselves in the foot so many times. Hunter, bless him, but man, he missed 2 bunnies in a row that would have cut the game to maybe 2 points. No, he missed them back to back. Then all of a sudden, they get kind of crazy. Jones, he actually Devontae Jones played a good game. 6 of 12. He was the one who was keeping Michigan somewhat in the game. No one was able to hit a shot. I'll get to that in a second. But he was driving to the lane and getting layups. And, kudos to him. He was keeping Michigan in the game. He shot 50% for the game. But then he got injured. Minnesota guy went up, missed a shot, but elbowed him right in the face. And so he had to go out for a little bit. So that put in Frankie Collins, and Collins had turnover where he stepped out on the sideline. He had another bad pass, and Houston had a turnover, and all of a sudden, Michigan had the chance. They had several possessions to get that 6-point lead down to 3, 2, 1, and they didn't. And then, because of Michigan's early foul trouble, where they played stupid, sloppy defense, they were out of position. They picked up cheap fouls. That really hurt them because Minnesota got fouled, and it was 2 free throws. They hit, at least 1 of 2, and there you go. And a game that Michigan maybe could have pulled out. It would have been an epic comeback. Goes by the wayside because at the critical moments, they made them just shoot themselves in the foot plays. Just miss a couple bunnies by Hunter. All of a sudden you start turning the ball over. You know. So, just some of my keys for the game. Another stat great brought up by TV broadcast. In the Big Ten play, Michigan and Minnesota are number 1 and 2 in three-point defense allowed. Like, they give up the least amount of three-pointers. Michigan, I didn't look at the stat, but Minnesota hit 5 or 6 for the game, so I'm sure they were in probably the 30% range. Michigan coming in was, I think, giving up 25%. Okay. Minnesota was giving up 26%, so there's like 1 percentage difference. But in the game, Michigan shot 3 of 18, 16%. And what does that do? That just completely stifles your offense. In the first half, Hunter was able to hit a couple mid-range jump shots. He was able to stretch the floor. He and Diabate kind of worked a little bit, but it was mainly Hunter. And Minnesota said, forget that. We're just going to completely crowd you because no one can hit a shot. You saw that they were going under ball screens with Eli Brooks, our best three-point shooter, I would say. And they weren't getting burned by that at all. I mean, terrible, if you will, defense, right? Terrible. You never let Eli never go under the screen to give Eli an open three. Didn't matter. Houston had a terrible game in that way. I mean, he didn't continue his good shooting from Nebraska. So even when you had wide open threes, guys were basically missing. The 16% they shot. 16%. 3 of 18. Like, man. So what happens? Yeah, Minnesota just crowds the lane. Now all of a sudden Hunter is being double, triple, quadruple teamed because there's no one can hit a shot. I mean, give credit to Devontae Jones. He at least drove and got some layups because everyone collapsed on Hunter when he drove. But, like, again, he's turning into, all of a sudden his name eludes me, but the Michigan point guard who, people just left completely open. I can see him in my mind. Xavier Simpson. And, like, they said, well, whatever, man. You hit one on us. You hit a three. Good for you. Because they don't think they're going to hit it. And Jones didn't hit a three. And then he started, being wide open, and he just passed it up. And, yeah. Another thing to point out is I think Howard messed up the bench badly in this game again. I mean, I'm not the head coach. Sadly, Brandon Johns Jr. turned back into a ghost. He had 0 points, 0 shots, 2 rebounds for the game. Woohoo. That's nice after coming off tying your career high versus Nebraska. So you don't even take a shot in this game. So whatever confidence he had against Nebraska is completely gone. 2 points. I think it was 2, maybe 4 points. Frankie Collins got a layup in there, and that might be it for the whole game. Maybe he hit a free throw or something, too. But that was it. Williams, he did nothing. He was 0 for 2 on shots, I believe. Just, the bench was terrible. Now, my point is that those players didn't do anything. Okay, fine. At least stats-wise. Frankie Collins subbed for Jones again, fine. Where's Bufkin? Where's Jackson? If you have guys that are shooting terribly, when you're down like 10, 16 points, whatever, why are you not giving other people a chance to see if maybe they can just go out and hit a shot? Because the people that were out there were not hitting shots. So I don't understand why Howard did not go to his bench more. And you see Eli Brooks, he stays out there basically the complete whole game. Maybe he gets a couple minutes rest. It's like, man, you got to play some other players. Even if, Eli is really important, and he is fine, but he's going to get worn out. You can see his shot is nowhere near what it was to start the season. He's getting tired. So I think Howard really messed up the bench tonight. You've got to give other people some time. See if they can get a spark off the bench, because Johns didn't do anything. Williams didn't do anything. Collins was, okay, Collins. But, man, where's some shooters? Come on. And that's just kind of the biggest glaring thing with Michigan. They know if they shoot the ball, okay, great. You just have a Nebraska game where you put up 102. You have this game where Minnesota just puts a run on you and you can't do anything because everyone's just crowding around Hunter. So yeah, they had no answer. The dumb fouls and Johns and the bench just being worthless for this game was really the biggest disappointments. 3-pointers to throw in there, just like, Minnesota looks like a decent team. I think that just says how bad Michigan is really actually playing. And like I said, I was really hoping Michigan would turn the corner, after San Diego State, after Nebraska, get the ball rolling. Then they come home and just have this. You're at home and you shot 3 of 18. And fine, Minnesota plays good defense on the threes. But they were wide open threes and people are missing them. You gotta hit some of those shots, man. You don't, you get a 10-point loss. Other news in the Big Ten now, what was it? Wisconsin went to Ohio State and got smacked by the Buckeyes. Liddell, man, he had a great game. I think he had 28 points. Michigan State, they look like they're going to be toughed out for sure. They're ranked, and they just beat up on Penn State at home. They're 2-0 in the Big Ten, so is Ohio State. So, Illinois, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Obviously, I think Michigan was terribly overranked, and you know what? That is what people do, right? You have these preseason rankings, and so that is what it is. Unless Michigan can actually get some consistent shooting from outside, this is going to be this formula. Just crowd the box. Even if you got Diabate, Johns, or Diabate and Hunter in there, what do you do? Just crowd the box, force them to pitch the ball out to the shooters who can't shoot consistently enough. And there you go. That's the way to beat Michigan right now. And part of me wonders, is Howard doing a good job? Obviously, like I said, I don't think he did a good job with the bench tonight. But when you have people that can't hit open shots, what are you supposed to do? I guess you bench them, right? I don't know. People say, reading online, you just open it up you want to have people that want to play are going to play, It's like, they all want to play. You got to play your best players, but Michigan just didn't seem to have a lot of heart till the last, at least in the second half, till the last 5 minutes of the game. And again, then they just shot themselves in the foot when they had a chance to get back into the game. So, Michigan plays another pretty poor game, loses by 10. They're 1-1 in the Big Ten. They have their 4th loss. I think, again, I heard this just quick at the end. I think this is either is the more or ties the losses they had all last year. Probably if you count UCLA, I think that'd be 4 losses. Maybe the Big Ten tournament, maybe it'd be 5, whatever. 4 losses already, and we're not even halfway through December. So this is going to be a very interesting year. It's going to be some pretty poor basketball. The Big Ten is a dominant conference, and Michigan is going to get beat up unless something drastically changes. But that's why they play the games, right? What do you guys think about the game? Put your comments in the box. I'll try to respond as I'm able to. Thanks again for watching. I know I rambled on a little bit, just saying what I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Always encourages me to do more of these videos. And until I see you guys next time, go Blue!